네, 5개의 헤드라인 뉴스 또 한번 시작해 보도록 하겠습니다. 그 전체 기사 내용 올려놓으니까는요, 일주일 동안 그 제 다음 카페 그 자료 올려놓는 곳에 올리시면요, 와서 내용 전체 그 어휘와 표현 또 그것을 사용한 예문도 확인할 수 있으니까요, 꼭 와서 봐주시길 바라면서 첫 번째 기사부터 시작하겠습니다. 전체 기사는 한 8분 정도 되겠습니다.
A measles outbreak gripping the U.S. is on track to become the biggest in nearly 2 decades. That's according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, which recorded 71 new measles cases in a report released Monday, bringing the total number of cases to 626 in some 22 states. That total is just 41 cases short of the high set during the last serious outbreak in 2014.
It worries me that measles is popping up around the world, a disease that we almost eradicated from our population.
More than half of the recent cases have occurred in and around New York City, many in the Orthodox Jewish community in Brooklyn. Measles is highly contagious and can lead to serious complications and death. It was declared eradicated in 2000 through vaccinations, but has staged a comeback in recent years. Despite scientific evidence to the contrary, a growing vocal group of parents are opposing vaccinations, believing some vaccine ingredients can cause autism or other disorders. Medical experts are urging parents to get their children vaccinated.
Tesla robo-taxis are on the way, and CEO Elon Musk says they'll be available in some markets as soon as next year. The best part? Musk says those robo-taxis may eventually cost a fraction of hailing an Uber or Lyft, and predicts in 3 years they'll have no pedals or steering wheel and could cost 25 grand or less. Musk made this surprise prediction after his tech executives gave a 2-hour-long briefing to investors focusing on Tesla's self-driving tech, the chip Tesla built from the ground up, and the software that runs the car. In incredible detail. Reuters reporter Alexandria Sage.
Elon Musk really needed to deliver something to Wall Street today that would get them excited about Tesla's growth prospects. Obviously, self-driving is the big topic. On the other hand, it also opens up Tesla to criticism that it overpromises, it misses deadlines, sometimes it over-exaggerates its vehicle's capabilities. All of this was on display today. Classic Musk, bold pronouncements about his car's capabilities, very aggressive timelines, but it can't really detract from the fact that in 2 days, Tesla is expected to announce a loss in its first quarter.
But if you believe in Musk's vision, you could buy a Tesla, eventually use the phone app to connect to the Tesla network, and have it drive around on its own, picking up customers when you're not using it. Tesla would take a cut of that revenue. And in that world, according to Musk, it would be financially insane to buy anything other than a Tesla. He says, quote, that would be like buying a horse.
Earth Day is a reminder as good as any that as action on climate change goes, by any means necessary is a good philosophy. So that should even mean measures like eating insects, according to advocates of entomophagy, such as Joseph Yoon of Brooklyn Bugs.
It takes a fraction of the resources to grow a pound of crickets as it does a pound of beef. And so the amount of water it takes, the greenhouse gas emissions that it emits compared to the livestock, the amount of land that's required, the amount of feed that's required, there are so many factors that just lead to, this is kind of smart.
Sure, but what about taste?
But that's part of the great challenge and the creative mission for me is, how do I take something that people don't perceive as food and make it crave-worthy, make it something so that people will go like, man, I never thought I would want to eat insects, but looking at his food, I really want to try it.
If nothing else, do it for the planet.
On a lonely stretch of desert in Bagram, Afghanistan, not far from the largest U.S. military base in the country, John Aga is setting up snares, decoys, and even a live lure. He's one of Afghanistan's many bird hunters in pursuit of a prize, wild cranes.
I began hunting birds when I was 13. At first I was just shooting ducks, but then I saw a group of cranes flying in the sky, and I really liked them, so I started hunting them instead.
In Afghanistan, the arrival of spring means a surge in violence as the Taliban launch their annual offensive. And this year is no exception, even during peace talks with the Taliban and the U.S. In recent days, fighting across the country between insurgents and local forces has killed dozens of people. But for Afghanistan's bird hunters, spring has a different meaning. It's the time they have the best luck catching cranes.
The pleasure of hunting is to be successful at it. A hunter's hope is to hunt. Being a success in any job in the world has a special joy.
John Aga takes his catch to local markets. Some go for food, while others are bought as pets or as investments by middlemen who turn them around for a premium in larger markets. It's a trade with little regulation. With the government focused on fighting a war with insurgents, issues like the environment can sometimes be neglected. Today, there are few controls on bird hunting. John Aga himself reckons he's taken more than 1,000 cranes and an uncountable number of quails, ducks, hawks, and sparrows. He says bird hunting is a tradition he's proud to carry on from his ancestors. But in a country decimated by conflict, it's also another way to survive.
You'd be forgiven for thinking this is a Star Wars set, but it's actually a Mars colony simulation in the barren hills of China's Gobi Desert. The Mars Base 1 camp was created to cash in on excitement about space in China. In January, a Chinese space probe touched down on the far side of the moon for the first time. Many see that as a proud step forward for the country. Reuters photographer Thomas Peter paid the park a visit.
The Chinese space program is in full swing. It wants to become a space superpower and has its eyes firmly set on Mars. Organizers say the harsh climate and the sandstorms in the Gobi Desert are the closest China has to the climate on Mars, so they consider it the perfect place to educate people on how a space program, exploration program on Mars might unfold.
Officials hope the site will attract 2 million visitors a year by 2030. Ambitious expansion plans are in the pipeline, fueled by a $374 million investment.
Welcome to the Mars Base 1 camp. The Mars Base 1 camp has 9 capsules, including an airlock room, a control room, a biomodule room, etc., which are all designed to support astronauts living on Mars. We'll go into the next room to have a look. Now we're in the biomodule room. We are growing many vegetables without soil, including leaf lettuce and traditional lettuce. We are also breeding superworms, and over there, we're growing wheat.
Alongside being a tourist attraction, the facility will eventually evolve into an astronaut training centre, equipping the next generation to lead China's charge in the race to conquer space.